They have finally done it. The Golden State Warriors just drafted a legit 7-footer. Hey, what's happening, everyone? This is Switch Culture. This move by the Warriors has been a long time coming. Ever since the Warriors traded James Wiseman to the Pistons, a trade which landed them Gary Payton II, the team has been without a true 7-footer. Even then, it seemed Wiseman wasn't living up to the bid. It would appear, at least initially, that the Warriors have remedied this big problem. However, and if Wiseman was drafted at 2nd overall and couldn't cut the mustard, how could a player drafted at 52nd overall near the back end of the draft possibly be any better? Are the Warriors just throwing darts? On top of that, Boston College, from where this new Warriors edition was selected, didn't finish with that great of a record, going 20-16. He's a 5th-year senior, 7 foot even, out of Amsterdam in the Netherlands, home of the tallest people in the world on average, but was an unranked player throughout college. This brings up a lot of questions as to what he can do for Golden State. But I've done the legwork so you guys can sit back and enjoy the details of what makes this prospect good or not so good for the Warriors. If you'd like to learn more, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Switch Culture for the most analytical and entertaining NBA content on the planet. Now get ready. You're about to get switched. It's safe to say that the Quinton Post selection was a late decision. A lot led up to the Warriors selecting him, so let's go back a little bit to see how they ended up with him. The Warriors originally traded the 52nd pick during the early stages of the draft to OKC in exchange for a deep bench player, Lindy Waters III. Waters is a 26-year-old 6'6" shooting guard who originally went undrafted in the 2020 NBA draft. Signed to play with the Enid Outlaws in the TBL, which, if you're unaware, is a low-key North American pro league. This map shows the locations of the major teams, which are all in US cities, and the Outlaws are here in Oklahoma. Pretty much a startup league that isn't that well known, but obviously with the ability to sign talented enough players. During his time there, he averaged 12, 5, and 5, roughly the same as his junior year in college. Averaged 44% shooting from distance last season and 3.6 points per game in just over 7 minutes. He played the next 3 years in OKC before they let him go for the Warriors' 2nd round pick. In anticipation of Klay Thompson leaving, the Warriors picked him up to add some depth at shooting guard. Waters doesn't exactly move the needle for the Warriors, however, so don't expect a whole lot of playing time. As it stands, the Warriors owe Waters $2.1 million this season, after which he becomes an unrestricted free agent. Now, the draft pick, which was tethered to OKC for Waters III, made its way to the Portland Trailblazers. As the 2nd round got underway, the Warriors noticed something. A relatively unknown player was not really getting attention, and it didn't seem any team was interested in drafting him.
I didn't go into draft night knowing that I was going to get drafted. Around 5 minutes before it actually happened, I got the call that, just watch the TV and be ready.
Quinton Post, a stretch 5 whom they had worked out prior to the draft, was still on the boards. The Warriors stuck their neck out and reacquired the pick from the Trailblazers for cash, and used this pick to select a 24-year-old Quinton Post out of Boston College. So what do we need to know about Quinton Post? Post wasn't always tall as a kid and had played on junior 2nd and 3rd teams starting at 11 years old. By the time he was 16, he quit playing basketball, only to return as a 6'8.5" 18-year-old. Post just had a growth spurt and shortly after was promoted to the first team in the Dutch secondary league, winning the national championship as the starting center. With offers now to play in the EuroLeague, Post instead accepted one of a number of D1 college offers to play at Mississippi State. His first year saw Post come off the bench, averaging less than 3 minutes in only 8 games, behind sophomore and NBA prospect Reggie Perry, who ended up being selected with the 57th overall pick by the LA Clippers back in 2020, and junior Abdul Adu. Perry now plays for the Golden Bulls in the CBA. For Post's sophomore year, with Perry out of the picture, he managed to play all 31 games. However, his minutes still didn't increase by much, logging less than 9 minutes behind a number of other smaller centers. Knowing what's at stake, Post entered the transfer portal for his junior year, where he set his sights on Boston College. Once in Boston, Post saw an immediate uptick in minutes, logging 21 minutes of playing time with his first noteworthy stats, posting 9 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 1 block per game. Now up to this point, he'd been playing the traditional center role for the most part, but did attempt to shoot from distance in limited instances. His three-point shooting was in the low 30s, so it was really nothing to write home about. It wouldn't be until his senior year that he broke through the barrier and became a threat from outside. For both his fourth and fifth years as a senior, Post shot 43% from three-point range, and it seems he shot better the more attempts he made. One thing which has remained true for the Warriors in selecting players for their ability to knock down their jumpers is the free throw shooting indicator. The team will select players who are good at shooting free throws, as this is an indicator of how they'll shoot from distance. Post shot well north of 80% from the line, hitting 86% in his fourth year. For his last year at Boston, Post managed to put up 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists per game in 32 minutes. He was the best player at Boston College and led his team to a winning record. His efficiency from the field for a stretch 5 at well north of 50% indicates that he's comfortable with his game as a shooting big, considering he has a healthy mix of shot attempts away from the basket and still managing to hit 58 and 54% on two-point attempts respectively in his last 2 years. He's more than capable of holding his own offensively in the NBA. With 1.7 blocks per game in his fifth year, he isn't a slouch on the other end as well. On paper, Quinton Post is the ideal player who has steadily developed over the years, and if he continues, would be a great addition to the Warriors roster. So how does this translate when he's actually on the floor? This is where Post's background comes in. Far from a traditional player, he is a complete player. That is, his game doesn't revolve solely around the limitations of a traditional center. Seeing that he used to be on the smaller side, he learned to play as a guard in his younger years. Once he hit his growth spurt, he finally started playing center. This gives him the agility and ability to move with or without the ball, to get to the basket and finish with a soft touch and with either hand. He has an array of moves that allow him to effectively post his man up, finish with a baby hook, a fadeaway jump shot, or in some cases, power his way through his opponent. He's got great body control for a player his size and can still drive and finish through contact. On the defensive end, he moves his feet well to stay ahead of his man, flashing the ability to guard multiple positions with much better switchability than, say, Zach Edey. Now the big question is, can Post be the Warriors starting center in a situation that may arise come October? The Jazz have been reluctant to trade Markkanen despite strong offers from the Warriors, with a statement purportedly coming from Markkanen himself saying he wants to stay a Jazz. More than likely, he wants to get a max deal, something which he becomes eligible for this August. So since it's shaping up like the Warriors will not be getting Markkanen barring a major turn of events, the Warriors are looking at either TJD or Post to be in the starting lineup. Based on what we've seen with Kerr, we can assume TJD will get the initial nod. However, if Post is performing well once we hit the regular season games, we might see him usurp Trace in the starting lineup. His flexibility may cause Kerr to give him more minutes much sooner than he did Trace last season. For those of you who have been looking for Post, it would have been great to see what he does during Summer League, but due to a leg injury, he didn't suit up and likely won't for the rest of the way. Expect him and Trace to split minutes this season. However, if he pans out and plays well at this level, the Warriors may just have found what they needed. While I'm not expecting him to come in and change the team, the fact that he can give the Warriors 5-out shooting makes him a better fit in the lineup next to Draymond and Kuminga. With these open lanes, JK will wreak havoc on some nasty drives to the rim as we've seen him do for the past 3 years. With this lineup, the Warriors could still remain competitive even if they don't land a big star like Markkanen. A star like Markkanen would allow the Warriors to have more room for error. However, with Quinton Post, this will then put the impetus on Coach Kerr to make the right moves and attack mismatches in order to maximize the roster's effectiveness. We've seen what happens with teams that only have 2-star players such as the Mavs, Lakers, Sixers, etc. They can only go so far. With Curry and Kuminga being the Warriors 1 and 2, not having that 3rd star really brings depth management to the forefront. I'm uncertain if the team can trust Kerr to pull the right strings, but the possibility to win is certainly there if Post gets a crash course and the Warriors start making use of him immediately. Let me know if you think Quinton Post can be that guy for the Warriors by the time we get to the playoffs, or do you think he'll be too raw despite 5 years of college? With the prospect of Markkanen looking bleak, maybe the Warriors should just try to focus on whether or not they can win with what they have right now. Post your thoughts in the comments below. Before that though, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all your notifications so you don't miss any of my latest uploads. Thanks for watching. Till next time, swish.